Welcome to The Explainer. We're all about taking complex topics and breaking them down into clear, visual presentations, just like this one.
Have you ever really thought about how studies and surveys actually get their data? It usually kicks off with what seems like a simple tool, a list of questions. But as we're about to see, getting that tool right is definitely both an art and a science.
So yeah, it all begins with a questionnaire. But here's the thing, a good one isn't just a list of questions. It's more like a carefully designed blueprint. So in this explainer, we're actually going to build one from the ground up. You'll see how to turn a messy list of questions into a precision instrument for getting solid data.
Okay, so first things first. Before you can even think about writing a single question, you need that blueprint. Every good study has to start with a really clear and solid plan. Think of it exactly like an architect's plan. Seriously, first, what's the purpose of the building? That's your objective. Next, who's going to live in it? Well, that's your audience. And finally, what are you going to build it with? That's your method. If you get any of these wrong, the whole structure could be compromised from the start.
All right, now we get to the construction phase, crafting the actual questions. And this is where the details make all the difference, not just in what you ask, but in how you ask it.
The first big decision for any researcher is this fork in the road right here. Do you let people talk freely with open-ended questions? You get these really rich, detailed insights that way? Or do you guide them toward specific answers with closed-ended questions? They're way easier to analyze with stats, but they definitely limit what you can learn.
Now, what's really interesting here is how these closed-ended questions branch out. It's not just one thing. You've got your dichotomous questions. That's just a simple yes or no. Then you have multiple choice, which, we've all seen. And then you have scales, like a Likert scale, that asks you to rate something from, say, strongly agree to strongly disagree. Each format is like a different tool designed for a very specific job.
So if you're going to get good, reliable data, your questions have to be absolutely crystal clear and totally free from any influence. If people don't get the question, or if you accidentally lead them to an answer, that data becomes pretty much worthless.
Following these rules is completely non-negotiable. For instance, asking, do you support the new policy and its budget, is a classic double-barreled question. What if you support the policy but you hate the budget? See the problem? Keeping your questions simple, direct, and neutral is really the only way to make sure the answers you get are accurate. Okay, let's move on to a really critical step that, honestly, a lot of people skip. It's the dress rehearsal for your questionnaire. Before the main event, right? Before you send your questionnaire out to hundreds or even thousands of people, you have to test it. A pilot study is your chance to find and fix all those hidden problems, like confusing questions or weird formatting issues.
And the point here is so crucial. This one small test run can literally save you from a massive, expensive failure. It's your only chance to find the flaws in your design before you invest all your time and resources into the big project.
And there are a couple of ways you could do this. You can run a participating pretest, where you just straight up ask your test group for feedback on the questions. Or you could do an undeclared pretest, where you just watch them take it to see where they might stumble or get confused naturally. Both approaches will give you absolutely invaluable insights.
So all this brings us to the final stage, choosing the right tool to actually deliver your carefully crafted questions to your audience.
Each of these methods has clear trade-offs. It's a balancing act. A face-to-face interview, it's going to get you the highest response rates, and you can clarify things on the spot. But wow, is it expensive? A web-based survey, on the other hand, is super cheap and fast, but it can suffer from selection bias. You're only reaching people who are online, and let's be honest, they're often ignored. You really have to pick the method that best balances your budget, your timeline, and the quality of data you need.
And just to put that into perspective, mailed questionnaires can have a response rate as low as 25%. Think about that. For every 4 surveys you send out, you might only get 1 back. That is a massive problem if you're trying to get a sample that actually represents the population.
So, the real takeaway here is this: the quality of your results, the insights you get from them. It all depends entirely on the care and precision you put into designing your data collection tool right from the very beginning.
So maybe the next time you're asked to fill out a survey, you'll see the science hiding just beneath the surface, that intricate blueprint that was required to build a tool that actually works. Thanks for watching.